Hi, everyone. I just want to talk about a couple of times in my life when I feel like I've received a spiritual call to make a change in my life. The first time that I had this call was when I was called to be a teacher. I was working for Planned Parenthood as a sexuality educator, and I was going into classrooms. I was that guest speaker who would come in and teach about birth control, abstinence, STDs, and that was a good job. I was enjoying that. But then one day, this teacher came to me and she said, "Have you ever thought about being a teacher?" And I said, "Well, not really, maybe in second grade." And she said, "Well, I really think you should think about it because it's innate in you." And when she said that to me, it's as if the light bulb went on over my head and, the angels came out and sang. And I just thought, yes, of course, that's what I should be doing. I am happiest in the classroom, so much happier than when I'm sitting behind a desk in an office setting. So that's what I did. It took me 3 years. I went back to school, but eventually I became a teacher. And that has been one of the best decisions of my life. It's provided me with a pretty decent income, with some good freedom and creativity, and I get to be around teenagers who I adore. So that's just been a terrific decision for me. I've had other calls in my life too, but I just don't really have time to go into all of that right now. But I wanted to talk about my call to go into this intuitive healing, which I'm doing now. So you remember from my last video that I talked about how after my dad died, I had that funny feeling in my ears. I knew that there were some sort of spiritual beings around me, but I couldn't see them or communicate with them. And I was referred to go to Nancy Rebecca and take some of her classes at Intuitive Mind in Tacoma. And through her classes, I was able to develop my intuitive abilities. And I learned how to do intuitive readings. And I think in practicing those and seeing the effect that they had on people, I think that's when the call started for me, that I began to think, I think maybe this is what I'm meant to do for the rest of my life. And it was kind of a subtle call that just got louder and louder. It wasn't the big light bulb that went off. It wasn't the big, oh yes, that's it. It was just kind of this steady push that I was feeling. And instead of just responding with an open heart and saying, yes, I will jump in and do this, I really pushed back because I was so, I guess, frightened by the notion of changing my life so drastically, at coming out to the world, sharing about these intuitive abilities that I had, worrying that people were going to think I had lost my mind and that they might reject me. That really stopped me in my tracks. So it was the one time really in my life where I've received a call and I didn't just jump right back in with a yes. So I just kind of continued to develop my abilities and practiced it more as a hobby than anything. And then last school year happened. And last school year was one of the hardest school years that I've ever had. And it wasn't the kids, it's never the kids. But it was a combination of factors of, what was going on in the country and just in my life in general, and then within the school. And so I felt like I was just made to be so uncomfortable in my status quo life that I had to make a change. So after a lot of conversations with my husband, John, we just finally decided, let's just go for it. And let's just do the halftime teaching. And then that would allow me time to develop this business, and to really step into the truth of who I am and to answer this call. So I just want to tell you that as scary as that was, and as long as that took, now that I'm here in this space, and in this point in my life, I am happier than I think I have ever been. And I feel more aligned with my purpose, with the world around me. I and last year, I didn't feel that alignment. I felt out of alignment, and now I just feel great, and I feel like things are just unfolding. And it's not to say that every time you answer your call that life's going to be perfect and everything is easy and wonderful, because that's never the case. But just, I don't know, there's just this interesting sense of doing what I should be doing, and the fulfillment that I feel because of that. So I share that with you just because I think it's an interesting thing to think about. And I'm wondering if you have had a call that you've answered or that you haven't answered. And what did your call sound like? What did it feel like? What happened? So just comment in the comments below, and let me know. I think this is a really interesting topic. And I would love to hear how this resonates with you, and how being called has affected and changed your life. All right, I'll see you another time.